Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to read your comments. I remember in our last video we talked about procrastination. I shared with you some of the challenges, some of the reasons why we all fall a victim of procrastination. I shared with you some of the things that I've been doing, why procrastination is with us all and no one is not a victim. I enjoyed reading your comments. I enjoyed reading your emails. I got a lot of emails from you guys just sharing your journey on how, I remember certain emails somebody shared with me and stated so many reasons why they've not been in a position to start their master's application. Somebody shared about why they've been procrastinating on starting their business, and even went further to confess that they thought that they didn't have the resources, they thought that they didn't have the ideas, but when they went through my previous video, they realized actually they had it all. The only thing that they had was the fear of starting, and by having the fear of starting, they kept on procrastinating. Then there's somebody also laughed about when I shared that some of the guys could be married by now, but because they kept on procrastinating and saying, oh, I'll reach out to the lady tomorrow, or I'll reach out to the guy tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. And the person shared that they wish they had approached that lady because the lady is now gone, married to somebody else. Procrastination is real. And procrastination has really affected us in so many ways, because some of the lives we are living today, we should be living those lives at our present moment, because through procrastination, we've stayed away from going to the gym, we've stayed away from eating healthy, we've stayed away from starting that dream job, we've stayed away from starting the application to continue with our studies, or furthering our studies, or going back to school, or starting that business idea. So I'm going to share with you some of the tips that I've used to work around procrastination, because it's a daily journey, it's a daily struggle, it's a daily, we have to keep on working around this thing, because procrastination is a monster. It's a serious monster, and it's eating us day in, day out. And if you don't recognize it, the time will come that one day you will be harming your dreams and your bills, the way Les Brown always shares it. And it will be so unfortunate, because we will not be having that time. We cannot rewind time to go back into time and say, let me start it. I wish I did it. We'll just be crying over our dreams. We'll be crying over the wishes, the time we had, but we played around it. So welcome guys. I've enjoyed the love, I've enjoyed guys subscribing, I've enjoyed the comments, I've enjoyed the likes, the email. Thank you guys for supporting this channel. This is Sheila Vandegraaff, and the channel is Impact with Sheila. Thanks for sharing. I know guys have been sharing this video. It's not easy, but we have to do it, because we know that, I personally know that I'm here, I'm in this position because somebody somewhere held my hand and supported me to be where I am. So I am doing this dedicated to all of you who are struggling with procrastination, because I'm a serious victim of this. But every day I know that I have to work around it. I have to use all the resources that are available to help me grow as a person, as a leader, as a mentor, and keep on impacting. And I have to make it very clear, procrastination is not inborn. So it means that it is a habit. It is a habit we've chosen to work with. It's a habit we've decided to be with. And if it's a habit, we can overcome it. So I hope and pray that I will overcome my procrastination habit. Here are my seven tips. 7 tips that I use to help me overcome my procrastination habit. Tip number 1, I have an accountability partner. Accountability partner is a friend that you wouldn't this is not your daily friend that you call and tell them, oh, yesterday I drank 8 glasses of wine. Or this is not a friend you just call and you share any non-useful information. This is a friend that you even fear losing. It's a friend who will professionally guide you, a friend who will give you genuine feedback, a friend who will, who is there for you, for your career growth, for your personal growth, if you don't have that friend already, look for one, because this is a friend that has helped me be where I am. This friend has told me my weakness without fearing to share this. This friend has told me where I should have been, and actually this friend told me 4 years ago that I should have come to the I should have done this particular degree long time ago, but I kept on running away from this, and this friend kept on pushing it until one day I said, okay. So one, I have accountability partner. I remember when I was doing my application for this particular degree I'm currently doing, this particular friend told me, you have to, everything you do, every research, you have to copy me into that, blind copy me. I want to see your progress. So I at times blind copy my friend, and if I don't, that friend keeps on calling me. The friend will keep on calling me and ask me, oh, where's the progress? How far are we? What are we doing? Share with me details. And because I don't want to lose this friend, I always try as much as possible to be in a position that I keep up with our friendship. Tip number 2 is that I use the Pomodoro rule. I'll share details on the link. In that, I break my task into smaller tasks. And what do I mean? What do I mean by this? At times when we start off, we say that, I want to get my master's. And when you look at the duration of master's, it's 2 years, it's 3 years, it's 4 years, and you just, you say, oh, that's a long time for me. Or you want to start writing a book, and it takes really long to start it, to write it, so most of these tasks, they appear so big, but when you break it down, it enables you to understand the duration that you'll take for you to complete the task. It will help you understand some of the activities that you need to do in a smaller way to help you achieve that task. It helps you understand whatever you want to achieve in the smallest way. So let's say an example, I'm currently doing my second master's in international development, and I know that in 2 years time I should be done with this, but at the same time I know that there's some courses that I need to work on for me to succeed towards getting this. Like, there's a course, one of the courses that I'm doing is statistics, and I say, okay, I have 5 hours to revise for my statistics, probably a topic, maybe chi-square or one of those heavy topics. So I say, I set deadline, I set a time and say, okay, I'll work on it for 5 hours. The moment I put 5 hours, my brain shuts, because my brain does not feel like that opportunity is too challenging, or it's too boring, and that's one of the reasons why people actually procrastinate, because they find the task to be too boring or not too challenging, or just not good enough for them. So when I use the 25 minutes rule, if it's 5 hours, I just say, okay, let me work on this for just 25 minutes. I convince my brain, let me work on this activity. It's too boring, yes, I don't want to read on this topic, or it's too huge, I don't want to work on this project, but let me just put it down and work on it just for 25 minutes. And when I do the 25 minutes, I always have 5 minutes. So the rule is, you work for 25 minutes, then you break for 5 minutes, then you continue. So this is the trick. Our mind works very interestingly. The moment you sit down to, you open that document and you start working on it. You take your pen and you start writing on that book you've always wanted to work on, or you start walking and you say you'll just walk for 5 minutes, or the moment you start doing that thing, our brain is amazing. You will realize that you had set yourself, most of the time I always say I'll work for 25 minutes, but in real sense it always goes further. I end up working 30 minutes, I end up working 50 minutes. It surpasses the minutes that I've said, because our brain works amazingly. The moment we put our mind to do something, it picks up on that. So that's something that has really worked for me, and I've really enjoyed using that. After working for 25 minutes, that's the time I pick my phone, I check on social media, but I'm not perfect. At times it doesn't work out. I work less than 25 minutes, but at least I start. The moment you start it, you already gain momentum. So I encourage myself to just work on it for a period of time and then give myself a break, reward myself with something, and most of the time is going on social media and just checking on who has bought the latest car, the latest dress, who's gotten engaged, passing minutes on social media. And then after that period of time, then I go back to work on that activity. The third tip that I always use is I have a to-do list. Wow. So a lot of people always say that, have a to-do list and prioritize and work on the most important things, and the least important things you work on them later on. So every year I always have to buy a diary. I have a physical diary that I have to write every day some of the things that I need to work on. So in my diary, I do not prioritize. Unfortunately, my brain works so interestingly. Whatever I remember, so how I go about the diary, I flip the page from the previous. Some of the things that my brain refused to, like they were procrastination. Even within your to-do list, you'll not be able to do everything that's in there. So normally I write everything that I want to do on that day, and some of the things are carried forward from the previous. So the moment I'll see that, I was supposed to apply on a job, I was supposed to work on do my reading on economics or whatever, and I didn't do it, it will make my first, it will be in my number one, my top 3 things to do for the next day. So the moment I keep on procrastinating, the moment I write it on my notebook in to-do list, the moment, it will force me, because I always love ticking off the things that I have done in my to-do list. So it will force me to do it so that I tick it off, so that my mind is just off it, So that idea, that habit of having a to-do list has helped me work on some things that I felt like they were too boring, too challenging, too, I feared starting off, but because they made it to my to-do list, I had to do it. So that's tip number 3. My to-do list is always with me. I keep on revising them daily. I keep on working on them daily, and I'm not perfect. I at least do majority of them, and if I don't, it will go to my next day's to-do list. So this is a tip that has helped me work around my procrastination habit. Tip number 4 that I always have, that has helped me work with on my procrastination habit, is that I set goals. And some of the goals that I've managed to set are input goals that I have control over. Let me give you an example. I see a lot of people when they start their YouTube channel, they always have these crazy goals that I'll make 10 million. Not 10 million, that's so crazy. I'll make $10,000 in my first year, or I'll make I want to reach 4,000 subscribers in a month, or guys, I want to reach 1,000 subscribers before April. So help me with that goal. It's external goal, but I know we can do it. At least by April, my goal is to have 1,000 subscribers. But you know what? That goal is external. I don't have control over that goal. But a lot of people set goals that are external, and they don't know how to go about it. So when they cannot manage, if I cannot get 1,000 subscribers by March, by April, I decide to shut down my YouTube channel. I sit aside and say, okay, this thing is not working, or I say, okay, let me work on this particular video. I want it to reach 1 million views, or I want it to reach 10,000 views, or I want to reach it a certain views. You don't have control over those views. So the moment you set your goals that are external, there's a higher chance that you'll get frustrated, and by getting frustrated, you will stop doing that particular thing that you're set to do. So normally, the tip that has worked for me is I set goals, but they're input goals. They're goals that I can work on. I know by me achieving 1,000 subscribers before or by the end of April is, one, by giving you good content that you will watch, you'll be able to comment, you'll be able to share with your friends, you'll be able to, to share it out and discuss and all that. And by giving you good content, I know that I'll be able to reach out to as many. But the main thing also, I know that through my videos, I'm able to impact as many. So I'm in a control to give you good content, well-researched content, information-based content, because that's something I have control over. Another thing that I have as an input goal is to work on my health. I know that the world will judge me either way. If I'm fat, if I'm skinny, if I'm what, but I know that my input goal is to stay healthy. So by staying healthy, I make sure that I at least go to the gym always, most of the time, or at times, I go to the gym. I make sure that I eat healthy, or try to eat healthy. Then I also make sure that, those are things that I can work around. So I set goals that I can work around, and those goals are mostly internal. They're not external goals. And when I know that they're internal, they're motivated by, I'm personally motivated to work around them. Tip number 5 that I always that has worked for me is I have a vision board that I look into every single day, and get to motivate me. So my vision board is a very, very scary vision board. I have scary things in there, and when I look at my vision board, I also understand that if I don't work around them, I don't want to consider myself a failure, because that's not a time I really love to associate myself with. So the more I get scared by my vision board, the more I just feel like I need to work on those particular things. So my vision board, it's very visual. It's something I look into every single day. I just enjoy challenging myself. And again, remember I said internally, not externally influenced. So these some of the things on my vision board are internally influenced, and it's really, really keeping me on track. I won't lie to you that everything in my vision board I've been able to achieve, but a certain percentage I've been in a position to achieve or even help me keep on track. Number 6 is know your personality. There's some things that there's some of the tips that I'm sharing here that will not work for you because of your particular personality, or that will work for you because of your kind of personality. My personality is a unique one, because I always want to not to disappoint the people that look up to me. I tend to set very high goals, because if I set low goals, I feel like they're not my they're not challenging enough. So get to know your personality, and when you know your personality, you know what best works for you. Then my tip number 7 is set your goals to be either too high or too low. Why am I saying set the goals to be too high? I've talked of setting the goals but internal. This is now another tip that works for me. Normally I set my goals to be higher, because if they're too low, I don't feel challenged. I don't feel like that particular thing is challenging enough for me to start on. But if it's too high, I challenge myself. So people are so different, and I've talked about personality. There are people, when they see like I challenge myself, I want to cut my weight, or some people challenge themselves, they want to add some weight. So when I challenge myself that I need to cut maybe 10 pounds or 4 kilograms a month, I feel that's a really high challenge. So I wake up to every day in the morning, I want to exercise, there's some people when you give them such targets, it shuts them. So get to know your personality. If 1 kg a month, cutting 1 kg a month, or 4 pounds a month works for you, well and good. Set your goals in those kind of limits. So guys, another tip that has really, really helped me to be where I am today is I set my personal rules and boundaries and I audit myself, and I reward myself. That's a tip that's really worked for me, because you remember in the previous video I shared that most people fall into the category of non-deadline procrastination. When you don't have deadlines in some of the things that we have, I mean, no one gives you a deadline on when you start your business, no one gives you a deadline on when you should start eating healthy, no one gives you a deadline on when you should start running, no one gives you a deadline on when you should, you know, apply for that career progression, to apply for that new job. No one will give you those deadlines. So when our brain, when you don't have deadlines, we don't see urgency into doing it, and with that it means that we'll keep on living our life in the normal way that we've been living it, and not feeling like we need to work on something. So another tip that has worked for me is that I've always created artificial deadlines in some of the things I want to achieve. Like I created a deadline on when I should start my application to progress my master's. I've always created a deadline on the weight I want to, the ideal weight I want to be in, not because the society wants me to be in that particular weight or particular health, but because I want to stay healthy. The tip of setting rules has enabled me to work around some of the things that I knew for sure I was not going to work on them. So normally I always wake up early, and by 6:30 most of the time, 6:30, I try as much as possible during the weekdays to start the day with going to the gym. So I'll not use all the machines because I have a knee problem. I'll not use all the machines, but you know, when I just go in, and even to see other people do it, I get motivated and start working out, and within no time I've realized that I've started feeling healthy. I look healthy, I look younger. Yeah, so I set rules on some of the things, and I also reward myself. When you set rules and you reward yourself, your brain, it creates that positivity energy. The positive energy keeps you going, and it just motivates you to keep doing what you're doing. So please try as much as possible to set your own internal rules and your own internal boundaries, when to use your phone, when not to use your phone, because I know so many times, and I'm a victim on this, we are told not to, you know, don't pick up your phone at particular time, you know, set timelines for when to pick your phone, when to use social media, when to, you know. So it's still something I'm working on, but I know I need to set my boundaries with social media, because I saw my weekly social media engagement, or the time I spend on social media, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so much time. So set the rules to guide your life, and when you set your rules, your own internal rules, you'll be able to follow them up, because it's something you personally came with. Those rules, you personally came with those boundaries, you personally came with those, you know, and make them achievable. And when you achieve even the slightest, you say that you probably want to lose 2 kgs a week, not a week, a month, or whatever pounds a month, and you didn't reach your target weight, you know, number, but you at least lost some amount. Celebrate yourself, you know, give yourself some reward. Go out, have some ice cream, go out, have some gossip, some good time with your friends, and then when you come back, you'll be refreshed to continue doing what you are set to do. So setting those rules and boundaries has been very helpful for me, and auditing my life has been really something that has really enabled me to move forward. Those are some of my tips, and I've given you a bonus one. Thank you so much for the likes, for the keep on subscribing, guys. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers. Please, guys, if you haven't subscribed, kindly go ahead and subscribe and share, comment. So go to the comment section and share with me which of the tips you think works best for you, which of the tips you've used and it's just not your tip. It's not your thing at all, and I shouldn't have put it there. Also share with me some of the tips that you've already, I know some of you guys are already working on these, some of the tips that are working for you that I've not included that I should include. I'll be so excited to read them. I'll be so excited to share them. I can do another video to add on those tips that you're already working on. Go as well, share with me some of the things that you've been procrastinating on, starting and you haven't, and now I think maybe through this video you'll start. Just share with me anything about procrastination. If you have a question, go ahead. My email is on the link, my social media on the link. Share with me. If you don't want to comment, you can send me an email. Feel free to send me an email. I'll respond to your email. I'll be able to engage with all of you, and so much love from me, guys. I really enjoy sharing all this information because I take so much time to read about them. I take so much time to watch other people what they're talking about, so that I can give you a useful information, and also try as much as possible to relate with my personal experience, because I'm still not yet there. I'm still fighting procrastination, and this procrastination is, you know, it's with us, but we also have to work around it. So I know many of you fear starting. I talked about fear in my previous video, how to overcome fear. And when you fear, procrastination kicks in. So don't fear. Let's start off. Let's just start it and use some of those tips. And I'm looking forward to read your beautiful comments. You know, the journey, this journey together is just amazing. So thank you, guys. And once again, please remember to subscribe, share, like. Let's enjoy this journey together. Thank you so much, and thank you for being a lovely audience.